Hi, welcome to a new episode of Career Backstage podcast. My name is Ana Maria, and I'm the co-founder and co-CEO of a Worley company. Today, we're going to discuss about how could your team and organization benefit from a team coaching program or a team coaching professional. We are delighted to introduce our guest speaker, Ana Maria Alexandru. So she's the creator of the innovative coaching model AMA, founded on the core values appreciation, mastership, and harmony. Ana Maria is accredited master coach, founder of AMA Leadership Academy, mentor coach for life and team coaches, and president of ARC Pro, the Association for Professional Coaching of Romania. So she has 20 years experience in the fields of coaching, training, education, entrepreneurship, and leadership. Welcome, Ana Maria, and thank you so much for accepting our invitation. It's a pleasure to have you on Career Backstage.
Thank you, Diana. It's so beautiful to be here. Thank you for your lovely presentation. And thank you for the conversation that we had before, because I'm very relaxed and ready to continue.
Yeah, I'm really excited, to be honest, to hear more about the topic. And of course, both of us we're going to share a lot of insights. And I'm really passionate about coaching also. So I done a little bit of introduction about yourself, but please tell to our audience who is Ana Maria. Tell us a little bit about yourself more.
So I like to think that Ana Maria is still a girl on the inside, a young girl that dreams a lot for herself and for humanity as a whole, and that's why she learned very young that words have power and meaning, and they can actually provide people with a lot of support and empowering and inspiration.
Love
So
that.
she decided to become a trainer first, and then she decided to become a psychologist second, and then she discovered transformational programs, and then she discovered coaching, and she became a trainer. And now she is training other people to find their mission, to find their purpose in life, to fulfill their purpose, and the highest of them all, and also provide good support and encouraging and information for other people, teams, and organizations. So here
So
we are.
yeah, this is Ana Maria in a nutshell, which is
Yeah.
brilliant. So, from where actually this passion of coaching is coming? Have you thought about this? Actually, where this passion of coaching is coming? Because coaching, I wouldn't say it's quite new. So, it came from sport as a, I would say, as a concept, but and people start kind of using coaching quite a lot in their work to work daily basis. So from where the passion is coming in your case?
In my case, I think the passion is for people. I love people, and I love to see people being in harmony with themselves and with the others. So I actually tried everything.
Yeah,
Everything, my path in life, in my career was like I felt like angels were driving me from one point to another, taking me from discovering corporate training in a huge company my mother was working for. So they discovered me and they said, well, you are delivering results, so maybe you can share to other people. And they trained me to become a trainer. And I was 19. And the only reason they invited me was because I was actually very delivering very good results in the business. And I was at that point in 1999,
wow.
like ages ago. I was actually the youngest trainer they had in Romania. So they taught me everything. And it was such a blessing because I learned from the best. Now, the people that created the business in Romania are among the best few in the world. So they are amazing people. So I was blessed to be trained from very young, to be taught the principles, and then I went through every single path that I could find to learn more, to see why certain people. I remember that this is why I became a psychologist. Why do people say that they're going to do something, and some of them do, and some of them don't? So what's the secret
Yeah.
here? So how can we empower people to do what they actually dream about? So I went through that place. And then somebody said, well, they discovered these courses that they are specially for you. And then I learned about transformational training, which was not proper coaching, like the classical coaching we know. It
Yeah.
was a bit more incisive and a bit more on the proactive side of things. And it was a mix between coaching and training. And then somebody from our leadership team said, well, you know what? There's this thing coaching in Romania now. I think it's very similar to what we are doing here, but it's more gentle. It's an approach that leaves a lot of space for the other person. It's an approach that makes you ask the questions and with taking the directiveness out of you and then leaving the person as an expert for their life. And I loved that. It was like, if I can only ask the question and the person finds their most inner resources and their most inner power, and they actually find their best plan, that's the best job ever. So I just wanted to learn this. And then I learned about teams. And then I found out that each individual is unique, but we can actually become a hive together, like bees that know their purpose and their specific
Yeah.
role, but together they communicate efficiently and they create more results efficiently, and they have harmony even in their
Exactly. And they
sound,
can,
you know?
yeah, and they can, through the interactions that they have so far, they can actually learn from each other, and it's really
Yeah,
brilliant. Yeah, I completely agree with you about like coaching is about people. You need to love people in order to do
yeah,
coach, be a good coach. Um, so I know we were talking about coaching. So some people they don't make really the difference between coaching and mentoring. So if we can obviously summarize in few words what coaching is and what is the difference between coaching and mentoring. So because sometimes when people coming to my coaching sessions, this is the first thing that I do so far, because I really want to people to understand what is coaching, what they need to expect from me as a coach, and what they need to expect from me in case if I do some mentoring for them.
yeah. In my school, the coaching the next generation, we have a school where we certify coaches in life coaching according to the highest standards in Romania. And also we have a school of certifying coaches in team coaching. So the very first thing that we give to those people that come to us to learn what coaching is, even if they went to different schools before they come for different approaches, we start with the basis. And one of the definitions that I love about coaching is that coaching is a dialogue in which both of us are partners, and my job as a coach is to be along the way with you while you are having your inner dialogue expressed outwards. And me, through my questions, I am supporting you to reach your own goals through your own planning, finding your own strategy to materialize the thinking, the dreams that you have. And I'm providing the context, I'm providing the conversation, my part of the conversation, which is the structure of questions. We call this the coaching curve. There's a
Yeah.
specific strategy and the technique that we go through a specific process from your idea as a client that, oh, I would like to be more communicative at work, or I would like to have another level of career accessible to me. Or a team might come and say, well, we need more results here, or we need better harmony. So it depends on the objective of the person, and the coaching curve leads us to the actual plan of each person or each team. And it's a specific technique and strategy, and it's a cumulus of strategies. And that's the coaching part. And when it comes to mentoring people, it is a requirement for the mentor to be an expert in the area of the mentorship. So this is the highest difference that I can make between the two processes. In coaching, to become a coach, you do not have to be the expert on the other person's business or areas of life that they are exploring, because the expert is the client. So my expertise as a coach is in the process supporting you as a client to
Yeah.
become and to achieve whatever you want. But when I'm a mentor for you, I need to be an expert in my area of competencies so I can support you with different techniques, techniques and different approaches to the issues that you are confronting. So my mentorship is in supporting life and team coaches to become professionals, to become entrepreneurs, and having success and speakers and trainers in this area. So that means that I only took on becoming a mentor after I became master coach, which means that I had, in my case, I had about 5,000 hours of experience as a coach. It's only necessary to have 2,500 as an international standard in order to be master coach. And only after that, I took on mentoring people and supporting them in becoming better life and team coaches because these are my areas of expertise. So when you are a mentor, you are allowed to share your experience, to guide the person, to show them this is what I did right, this is
Yes.
what I didn't do so well. So
Yes.
please
Yeah.
learn from my mistakes. Please do yours, but don't do mine.
Yeah.
So that's a gift that we can actually give to the person, which is completely different from coaching, where we do not share our expertise. We just allow the person to bring their own expertise to the light. So this is how I would
Yeah,
describe them.
that's completely correctly because I noticed, for example, in many organizations, people start kind of having 2 days of coaching program, and they start kind of take the position of a coach rather than
Mhm,
of a mentor. So until now, they've been like I'm talking about senior level, right?
mhm,
Directors, managers, they were in the position of the mentors. They actually teach, their subordinates about how they need to do a task, whatever. But now they kind of start challenge themselves a little bit, and
mhm.
they would like to take the position of the coach, where they would like to be a companion in that journey for their subordinates when they actually help them to develop. And as I introduced about, and I was saying about coaching in organizations, how we can introduce coaching in organization, because big organizations like corporation, they started kind of introduce this, but small organization, they didn't. So how we can introduce coaching in organizations different?
That the most important thing for an organization is to look at its people and see, because like organizations are not objects, are living creatures, are actually living organisms. So each part of the organization is compounded by a person, and each person interacts with the other or with the team. And through it all, the processes that the organization has provide the system. So an organization is a context for this living organism to work together efficiently. So every single organization, if you have three people and you're working in an organized way, yeah, you have a name, you have a brand. Maybe it's not a brand, like it's not very well known, but you have
Yeah.
your own name and you have your people, your core people. It's very smart to have life coaching for yourself and each team member, for them to fully develop themselves and fully express themselves in your team. And also, it's very smart to work with them in a team coaching process, because that harmonizes the team and makes the processes go smoothly. So, an organization has a lot of work to do. So, having my own organization in coaching, I know about the specific processes that need to be upgraded all the time and all the technology that you must have. And depending on the area of the activities that you have as an organization, you need to be aware of every single component of this system
Yes.
that you have created and always develop. And the best part is to have some of your weight taken off your shoulder as an organization. So this is where a coach is very powerful as a tool, as an instrument, as a resources for an organization, because a person that is expert in their own process, that's supporting you to achieve your best results, to and the results that we provide, they are awesome, because we either improve the culture inside of an organization, improve processes, improve communication, improve results. So as an organization, it's smart. I work with startups. So I had this amazing, the last experience was uh, actually falling in love with a lawyer's team that worked for our
Yeah.
association for many, many years. I just discovered them when I was voted first time president. So I had to interact with them and I liked it so much. And I was like, oh my God, you're doing such a wonderful thing, you know? So
Yeah.
they said, well, we are interested in, a startup kind of coaching sessions, like how that look like. And then I thought, startups are amazing because they need to be okay from the start. Most startups
Exactly.
do not make it through because they do not have the cohesion and they lose people and fabulous people. And when you have a startup, you have such big dreams and you have such wonderful projections for your future and the people's future. But if you bring a coach, it's the outside person. So it has a clear mind. It's not a stakeholder. It doesn't the only person the only person more interested or as interested as you to succeed is your coach because they really, really thrive. We thrive
Exactly.
in each other's success. And at the same time, coaching does something very powerful. We do not judge people. We do not judge organization. We come with our best and we provide our best. We help people do their best. And then we just analyze and report and the organization takes the next steps forward. So it's a dance. It's such a wonderful cooperation when each of the entities are allowed to do what they do best, you know? So introducing coaching to organizations, it should be like breathing, like eating, like it's food for the organization, is nourishment. There are so many processes that
Yeah.
are being improved when you bring an outside person, but the point is to choose wisely and to have professionals working with you. And also I think it's a matter of chemistry, like we were talking about, you know.
I completely agree, and especially in these big organizations, which they have most of them they still have the bureaucratic process, and exactly as you mentioned, coaching is helping, especially in this bureaucratic process, to actually to put people first rather than to put the company first and then to put individuals, because they are all going to be all going to take some time for organizations to embrace humanocracy process rather than bureaucratic process. Yeah, it's really important. So how does coaching can benefit a team and an organization? So you just mentioned how coaching can be introduced in the organization, and also you mentioned about improving the processes, communication, and also people having like a growth mindset. There are any other benefits that, or if you can give us an example of any benefit that coaching can produce for a team or for an organization?
Yeah, there are, like at every level of the organization, when a coaching process happens, there are multiple benefits. So, in the methodology that we are practicing, we are applying in the organizations and with teams specifically, we call it ARL, which means
Mhm.
action learning. It has been patented by an organization called Leadership in Motion, and we are representing them in Romania and in Europe. So what's happening with this is the fact that there are considered 5 dimensions. So let me tell you about the 5 dimensions. There are
Yeah.
personal, at a personal level, the benefits are a personal level. And an example would be like, I want to be happy when I come at my job. So every single person that's employed wants that. We want to feel happy for coming to the job, not just for the money, not for survival, not for just fulfilling some tasks. I want to be happy and feel at home. Another dimension is professional. I want to grow. I want to develop. I want to find a place to go upwards, or I want to be able to manifest my value, my inner abilities. I want to express them in different teams, in different projects. So that's a professional advantage. Also, there is team at the team level. Yes. So
Yeah.
at the team level, What we need to do, what we actually do, and what people really, really need is, I want to feel at home with my people. I want to be able to speak up. I want to be able to be heard. I want to feel like I'm not participating at, like 100 gazillion meetings without anything getting ever done. We just meet and talk. I want to provide real results. But I want to do that with my team. I don't want to fight other people in order. I don't want a competition. I want to feel in harmony. So that's another big desire that coaching actually provides, uh, resources and results in this expectation of people feeling at home in a team, because we support them find a perfect place in a team, or maybe switch teams if there's necessary. Sometimes people switch companies. So
Yeah.
for organizations that actually employ or contract coaches, please be aware that sometimes some of the people, is better for the people to go, and it's better for you as an organization to make room for people that are more aligned with your values, with your way of working. And this apparent loss is actually a huge gain on the long term. So organizations have to be open also for changes. So that's the fourth plan. The fourth plan is the organizational plan. Processes transform, workflows transform, technology transforms, approaches transform, and more than everything, results. Results at the four levels so far, but also at the business level. So this is why we actually do everything that we do. But companies generally, organizations and teams contract us for the business part. So I want more profit. I want less costs. I want like a specific procedure to go smoother. I want less complaints. I want more courage from the part of my people. And that would lead with them taking ownership and taking leadership, and us having more contracts, so us having more money. Yeah. So the business always gets impacted, but all of them get impacted when you actually work on the five dimensions at the same time. And one of the examples that I love best is actually when I went to a company. They asked me and one of my partners, they asked me to come there and tell them about team coaching, because they never had a process like that.
Yeah.
So what they said at the end of the meeting was, you looked together as the team that we want to see in our company. So while you were thinking that we are interviewing you about your competencies, we actually wanted to see if you are a team. And that's the best thing that we found so far. So they invited us. We've worked with them with individual coaching and team coaching. And then I created a corporate program that was meant to transform the organizational culture to an organization based on authentic feedback. So this feedback thing, which is like you were
Yes.
saying, bureaucracy. Sometimes the best tools in life, the best things that we have, like communication, is being transformed into a process that's meaningless. And people give each other like slaps on the back, or like on the back of their head sometimes, and they call that feedback. So what we do is that we change this perception that feedback is nourishment. I nourish you when I'm telling you something. So
Yeah.
I'm giving this information to you for you to grow. And while I'm providing that nourishment for you, in order for me to provide such a level of feedback, I need to grow up myself. I need to develop
Exactly.
myself. And that's in itself, it's one of the most powerful processes that we bring to organizations, because it leads to communication, with authentic communication, and people access the power of understanding, of forgiving. So many teams have issues because somebody did something 5 years ago or 10 years ago, and it's been a catastrophe of feelings since then, and they still build up and build up, because if we do not cultivate authenticity and cleaning up and clearing everything in our path through communication, then all the best processes and best technologies, they cannot do the work that a person can do, and the person cannot perform at its best when they do not feel comfortable and loved and accepted and understood and have this through communication. So I think this is the most important thing that coaching does to organizations and teams. And also performance. Speaking with people, I've been working with a group of wonderful swimmers, like adolescent, and they were like junior in the junior national championships. We ended up working for 3 years together, so they got at least 40 or so medals during that time, and some of them they were the most unexpected ones. And I remember, like, and this happens in organization and in business. We have 4 young people that are at this in this moment of the
Yeah.
competition, they have to work together. But when this part of the competition ends, they have to compete against each other. And that happens in a span of 30 minutes. So their whole emotion was there, and they couldn't manage themselves to be partners for 5 minutes, knowing that after 25 they will have to be competitors, and they actually, even if they understand each other, they will have to compete all of their lives together and against each other specifically. So they were not like, it was this moment that they didn't want to go into the water like 5 minutes before the competition itself. And the trainer, the coach, the actual sports coach was like, I'm going to throw them myself in the water if they don't go. So I just had a conversation, and we only had 3 minutes out of 5 before they go to the block start. So we just had this wonderful conversation about how it would be helpful to forget that we are competitors.
Exactly.
And what would that bring to the team, to each person? What would the results be? What's stopping them? And I just did the coaching curve that we do in 1 hour with one person in 3 minutes with 4 people. But they are professional athletes, so they went really well. So what happened is that they did their best. Then, and in the span of 10 minutes altogether, they went from, I'm not going into the water because I have to compete with them later. So I will be the one being the most tired because I tried my best and they didn't, because they saved the forces for later, and then they will beat me. And that was what undermined each of the 4 people. And in the time span of 10 minutes after the actual competition uh, had happened, they had to pass from one to another. So it was a true team competition. They went and actually won gold medal. So that's what happens when people just set aside being competitive and just be aligned in harmony. So that went on for years in that team, and I'm very happy to say that some of the children went into wonderful careers, and one of them it's actually aiming for Olympic status. So this is what happens when you plant the seeds of understanding, of communication, and of being in harmony with each other instead of competing with each other, for example.
Yeah, that's correct. And I remember a couple of years ago when I joined an organization back in United Kingdom, I was belonging to HR team, and obviously when we have this performance review, sometimes it depends on the company. You can have 6 and 6 months, or you can have once a year. So we had like 6 and 6 months. We have like middle year review and end of year review. And I remember my line manager, when I joined the organization, established, set up my objectives for my probation period. And for me, it was a little bit of strange. I used to finish coaching in that time, and I learned one thing, like, okay, you need to set up your objectives, because if you set it up for yourself, that are your objectives, and you're gonna achieve them. But if someone else is, is setting up objectives for yourself, that means that objectives belong to that person and not to me, and that's why perhaps I might fail to achieve them. So in that time when I saw that the line manager set up the objectives for me, I was kind of completely felt comfortable with this during the probation period, because I didn't know the company, I didn't know people, I didn't know really how I have to interact with them. But after a while, once I finished the probation period, then I said, like, I feel like I can, based on the job description, I can set up my own objectives, and let's sit together and see if my objectives are aligned with the company values, with the organizational culture, and also with my job description. So, and in case if I miss anything, so my line manager can add. And I said, like, I feel like these are my own, professional and personal objectives that I can achieve. And I made this challenge, and I challenge all the team HR. So since then, they started, each member of the HR, they started to set up their own objectives. And obviously, we start kind of having a good performance and a better performance rather than we had before, which obviously, coaching actually is benefiting a lot our organization and also a team, and especially because it helps a lot to understand each other, to know each other better, and to have that cohesiveness in the team, and also to bring that kind of contributions, that type of behavior, for the organizations and also in the teams. It's really good. I mean, I'm really, I love this. It's yeah. So when a team or organization, let's say, needs to apply for a team coaching program or book a coaching session with a team professional coach.
I was wondering about this need, because I think that needs and wants are different, So
Yes.
I would rather not be called when an organization realizes that they need us, because that means that something went really wrong there. So something is so much hurting that they just, and I hear that all the time. It's like, oh, we came at you as a last resort. And I'm thinking, why not first or second or third? Like in the last resort, there's so much time. So when people feel the need, I'm thinking about Maslow's pyramid, like need is so basic that
exactly.
if you get there, then something is raining on you. You don't have enough food or resources, or you're gonna sleep outside in the rain. So you, as an organization, I would rather be called when you feel like you would like a better future. So that's also a basic difference between coaching and other approaches for human beings, because coaching is about performance. It's about higher productivity, higher awareness, higher level of thinking, of acting, higher compared to your own that was before. So when as an organization feel like you have achieved what you already have set up to do, and you feel like expanding, like bringing more people, like bringing an expert from another part to work with one of your teams, you might call a team coach, because the team coach will harmonize the presence of the outsider, which is, I don't know about other cultures, but in Romania, we have this kind of family attachment to our people. And when somebody comes from the outside, and it happens with the coach to be projected upon them also at the beginning, until the coach proves that they are really cool people and they are not judging and they don't want to fix anything. They just come to support the processes that are undergoing and make them more consistent and more diverse, and also more adapted to the actual people working there. Then the teams go, oh, okay, so he's not that bad, or she's not that bad. And then we become friends. By the end of the program, we become best friends because we trust each other. But until that thing happens, it's exactly the process that happens with somebody that as an organization you import. So I have seen that on a huge pharma organization, where the one of the top managers, which was the most important coordinator for processes, was a superstar in another country. So the Romanian representatives thought that he could actually import, like import that wisdom and knowledge
Yes.
and bring it to the Romanian team. And I was in the unfortunate position of observer in that session, which was led by a colleague of mine, and my job was just to observe the process and see what happens when you're just at a distance, like a fishbowl.
Yes.
And what I have seen is that the local team was almost speechless. So they did not answer the coach's question, the facilitator's question with more than 2 or 3 words, because they were afraid of being judged by this person that they didn't know, the new manager. So the manager was talking with me and saying, "Hey, I'm not such a scary guy, am I?" Well, he was like 2 meters high. I was like, "Not really, but what do you mean?" And he was like, "They do not speak with me. I come from a culture," I think he was from Greece. And he was like, "I come from a culture of people talking to each other, and I'm a warm person. I'm almost fuzzy, but they don't talk to me. They treat me like I was this kind of dictator person that would actually move their heads if they say something wrong." So this happens a lot in an organization. So although the intention is very good to bring an outside source which would bring wisdom and infuse the team, the local team, with awareness and technologies and processes that would make it grow very, very fast, what happens at the beginning is that it's this problem of communication, of getting harmonized, of knowing each other. So what's good, what you can do is call a team coach. And organizations, please start your search now. Prepare a list of 3 or 4 or 5 professionals or companies in our field, and just set them aside. You have a new challenge, you have a new objective, you have a new situation. Call, call the team coach that you feel that they are resonating. Call them all and interview them all. And then choose whomever is more perfect for you. Because if you do so, you will have a person that's outside of your organization that will get all of the projections. The team will project onto him. That's one. But it's our job, so we are okay with it. And then you will have a cool process that would go along with your objective, will make that person integrate faster, will make the team observe them faster, and will make them cooperate better in very, very short time. You cannot imagine what miracles we actually do in the time span of 3 or 4 hours. I'm teaching people now how to create those processes for themselves with their own teams, and also manage bigger and bigger teams. And the program in itself is 12 meetings of 2.5 hours each, one in 1 week. People who have never managed teams, that they came to the program in the eventuality they will create a team in the future, actually in 5 sessions are able to create a workshop, to co-create together with other people that they've never met, a team coaching workshop, to support a team that they've never met before to achieve a specific goal they are aware of, because they got tools and they know how to extract the objectives of that team. So you cannot even imagine, and I can spend my entire lifetime to tell you what chocolate feels like, the best chocolate in the world. But until you taste it, my friends, you cannot know what it is. So coaching is the chocolate in this case. Try it. Just try it with the best on the market, or what you consider the best to be the best on the market, and then try different ranges of chocolate, and I'm sure you'll find one for you.
And as you mentioned about, to choose the right team coach professional. So how we can make sure, for example, as a team or as an organization, how we can make sure that we choose the right, team coach professional for our, let's say, small, I'm not saying problem, but small opportunity that we have in the organization that we need to, to help us, obviously, to improve or to grow. So how we can make sure to choose the right person? Because I think most of organizations, probably they face this kind of issue. Oh, we are not quite sure if this person, obviously, it's recommended maybe for hundreds or thousands of professionals, but we're not quite sure if we're going to be the right one for our team or for our organization.
I deeply understand that. And I I feel compassion for the people who have to choose. And in our country, usually the HR professionals are very burdened with these choices, or at least with the selection. So I completely understand the position that you are in, and you're not, you're out of now and seeing it through the. I'm sure that you understand best what I'm going to say now.
Yes, I do.
Because as a person uh, in this position of searching and choosing, you bring your soul to the table, you bring your own preferences, you bring your own subjectivity. You like a person because they have, like, like nice hair, and you feel attracted
Yes,
from the
yes.
picture. And then they come to the table, and then they have to actually provide what the company needs. So I think there are a few stages for people who are making the selections that would be wise to take under consideration. First of all, know your company's objectives really well. So understand the requirements, the need, the desire. What is it that they actually want you to find a professional for? Yeah. And then after that, allow yourself to make a thorough research. So top on Google, it's not a thorough research. Yeah. People pay to be there. Personally, I never paid to be in a commercial or to have my company advertised, and that sometimes make it difficult for people to find me, even if they would like me or need me. So I completely understand why sometimes the people searching in the company, they just go, oh, top three, they must be good because that's top three. So
Yeah, it is
some
indeed like
people
that
that are good
sometimes.
enough, it's like on page 20, you know. So do your research based on what your requirements are, and then really, really look at the people's profiles. The people that are not so much of the company that employs them, if it's an organization that has more people, but look at the person that will be working with you and your team. It's exactly like you would choose a personal coach. They need to
Yeah.
resonate with you. They need to be in their hearts and their soul. They need to be authentic. They need to be there because they really, really want to help you and your team. And that's something that you feel. So a third step would be to make a list of every single person that attracts your eyes, the brand, their recognition, their consistency, their experience, their people, and then make a short list of people that you actually meet, that you see, that you have a conversation heart to heart with. Please don't waste your money just on pictures on internet. Internet is very good at looking good. Yeah. Choose the people that would bring value to your people, that their life mission is to support other people because they feel like that's something that gives them the most happiness in life. When you find that kind of professional, you know that they will do everything in order for it to go well. Yeah. So then have a conversation, and then choose the people that actually show you a process through which you go from A to Z, or from A to
Yeah.
B and then to B to C and so on. So it needs to be a methodology there. It needs to be nowadays, it needs to be a cumulus. Like it has to be more types of methodologies from my perspective, because in a team you address person to person, you address the group, and then you create the team or you develop the team. So there are different processes for each of the things that I just said. So the person delivering them to you must be an expert in those processes in order to make your people who are not expert in those processes work as they were and actually become those experts.
Yeah.
So, and also another thing is create clear KPIs, key performance indicators. How a natural question in coaching is, how will we know that we've been successful? Yeah. So how do we design the outcomes together in order for the coach to create the proper process through which the team has to go step by step in order to reach from objective the results. So in order for this to happen, generally in our case, with our methodology, takes 3 to 6 months to get from somebody
Yeah.
calling us to an actual project. So it's always a lot of work behind the scenes, analyzing, identifying the proper needs, identifying what we can actually do, seeing how we can support every single step of the team, what are the proper processes, going back and forth with the feedback from the key stakeholders, and then agreeing on a design, a program design, which is custom made for that
Yeah.
client, and then delivering, analyzing every step of the way, and then at the end, drawing a conclusion in a percentage, how much on a scale from 1 or 0 to 10, how much
Yeah.
did you provide what you wanted? And that has to be also an intermediary analysis, and the final analysis lets us know if there's something else to be done. And sometimes it happens that we actually recommend different processes done by different professionals. So that's something that we do out of respect. I'm more than often the liaison between the delivery team and the client, which is we call this a multi-part contract. The beneficiaries are the team, the client is the person signing the contract, we are the providers, and sometimes there's one of my teams delivering the contract, and I'm supervising everything, and I'm mentoring the coaches,
Yes.
and I'm working with the client. So sometimes I have to be the bearer of bad news, like, well, from the systemic approach, this issue is going to get solved in a certain way, and then the team will find another black sheep to put the problem on. So sometimes you have to be, as a coach, you also have to put your consultant hat and go to the
Yeah.
client and tell uncomfortable truths, and it must be very specific that the coach never talks about what happens in the sessions, because that's privileged conversation and that's part of contracting, but it has an overview, and according to the KPIs can say where the process is going according to the plan or not according to the plan, which of the parties needs to make adjustments, and then the final judgment is the client, because they know what's the best for their own company. So it requires a lot of authenticity, a lot of talking straight. So people, to wrap up the answer to your question, people in the difficult position of searching and choosing the professionals that your organization or team would work eventually with, please mind your authenticity.
Yeah.
We
Please
all
agree.
have this, like this detector of truth. I will send you, Diana, if you would like to share in the comments. I always recommend this book. It's called Blink. It's about how we as human. I will send you the link. We have it in the
Yep.
library.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. So the point of this book is that we have the ability of knowing the truth in the first few split seconds, in meeting somebody, in seeing something, if it's authentic or not, if it's going to be useful or not. But as people, we have developed also this ability of quashing our intuition. So because it looks good, because it talks smart, then maybe that's the person. We would like to think that's the person. And there are a lot of people taking advantage of image instead of substance. So we need substance.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, there are a lot of smart people that have a lot of substance and a lot of experience that have no idea how to take advantage of their creating their image and still struggling. And I'm not naming names, but when Diana told me about putting this on LinkedIn, I was like, oh man, I haven't done my profile in 10 years. So there's always this bias, like if you
Exactly.
have that credential, if you have that profile that looks good, that you must be a professional. And sometimes you have to search a lot to find the right person. And I'm not advising you, dear coaches, to do like me. Please don't. Improve your profiles, put your professional foot forward, do everything that you need to be sold and to be seen as you are, as beautiful professional people. And for the people selecting it, search thoroughly, and
Yeah.
you'll find the best
Uh,
person.
Yeah, that's brilliant, because as I said, most of organizations and most of teams, they don't know how to choose the right person when it comes to coaching, and sometimes it's a really pain, as you said. It's
Yeah.
really painful for even for HR, or even for, I don't know, for people who are responsible to bring any coaches into organization. So that's why I noticed, for example, in Europe, what big organizations they do. They obviously contracting 4 or 5 coaches
Mhm.
on a different field, but also on the same field. Because if
Mhm.
someone does not resonate with this coach, so they can actually, uh, propose another person.
Yeah, the best part for my organization, for our Leadership Academy, is that we have created a lot of coaches in the education, in team coaching, in life
Yeah,
coaching, and now in leadership coaching. So the best part for us is that we went through different stages ourselves as an organization. So my vision in the beginning was that I will have a team of 100 people working with me for different projects. And then I had to choose. I was the person in the uncomfortable place of choosing. So
yes,
then I realized that it was a matter of personal bias, like who I harmonize better with, who I click better the chemistry. And then at the end of the a process that took me a lot of time, and only at the beginning of this year actually came to maturity, to fruition for me, I realized that first of all, I need the best professionals, not in my field specifically. I need the best professional in their own field. Because when you get a coach, that a team coach or a coach in an organization, an executive coach that actually has a wonderful experience as an entrepreneur, or they are wonderful in human relations, in customer care, or they are awesome trainers, and they or psychologists, and they put on top of that, they put the of learning of being a coach and the experience they build, the experience of being a coach. They go very fast, very high level of professionalism. So it's really good to have a team of different coaches, when so the potential client can actually choose from,
yeah,
and there's strength in numbers. It's more fun. So coaches out there, find your team, create your own team. Until you work in a proper team and in a proper organization of coaches in the coaching field, which is different from other types of businesses, you will see. If you don't see already, you will see.
yeah,
Until then, it's really difficult to be a very good team coach, because you have to feel and live the processes by yourself as your client does in the beginning. That's my biggest advice here. Go through the processes your client will have to go through with you. I'm always saying this, I'm not coaching you from books, I'm writing the books. I'm writing the books about the experience I had, from which I have learned with more than 10,000 people so far. So what I do is that I map everything on myself, on my team, on the organizations that I work with. I do pilots, I get feedbacks, and then until a program hits the market, it takes at least 3 years, because we need to bring people professional services in order to keep um, our coaching business alive and our coaching reputation alive. So we need to provide professional services. If you conglomerate, if you go in different teams of coaches, in different organizations of coaches, you will learn so much, and you will become so much better at working with other people and other teams. And also, I wanted to say here that it's awesome for an organization to have team coaches inside of their organization. There are so many people that are very good. They have the abilities, the innate abilities that they have
yeah,
to build upon. They only have to put the techniques upon them, and it's very cost effective for an organization to have an inner organizational coach. They create disposition for a person that can actually work with teams along the way, and it's very, very effective. And they can learn the proper processes by going and getting themselves credentialized as coaches. We have a lot of people coming and being supported and sponsored by their organization in order to have these abilities. Even if the position is not called team coach, they do different jobs. They use all of this knowledge and abilities in their own jobs, and it makes for a more productive organization.
Great. As we have 5 minutes left, Ana Maria, I would like to ask you the last question. So we will summarize how could your team or and organization benefit from a coaching program of a team professional. So some kind of tips or bullet points, like 1, 2, 3. That were going to be really brilliant because we discuss about a lot of things. But I would like that we summarize in few words about the how they can benefit. So just to be kind of more clear for our audience, how they can benefit from a team coach professional or team coaching program.
Well, to summarize everything that I've just said,
Yeah.
in I will use the coaching model that I have been creating, and I have been developing with my team along the way, which is
Brilliant.
called Appreciation, Mastery, and Harmony. So, if you want bullet points or 1 to 3, is your team will learn to appreciate more, appreciate themselves, and appreciate the others. That makes for such a wonderful, comforting medium to work in, and it's priceless. When you have to build on appreciation, that's at the foundation of everything. So there are books now. I have seen, I think 2 weeks ago, that there are like writers of of books about how to be more prosperous. In they were saying, thank the money, and the money will thank you. And I was having so much fun watching this video, because you know what? That's the power of appreciation. But first, thank yourself. Thank yourself as a person in a team. Thank your teammates. Thank your organization, because it provides the context. And in the medium of appreciation, everything is better. Short term, medium term, and long term. Second is mastery. When we do the programs, people find they fine tune their inner mastery. So they bring forth into the game, whatever the game is called, like making doubling the profit this year for the company, or keeping people together in these times of need. Yeah. Um, Mastery is something that is also innate, because it has been created and developed along the way. But very rarely people in organizations are being present to the immense value that they actually have to bring forth. And when they become present to the other people's mastery, they actually can fine tune their processes so they become better altogether. And the third thing, harmony. Um, well, that's the thing that we are all striving for. So if you look at every single culture and every single country and every single religion and every single person, what do we want is to be happy. And that's the state of being harmonious together inside. And when we want to be happy, we need for the environment to nurture this happiness, to expand this happiness. So this is how harmony works. You make the fine tuning into yourself, and then you expand it outside, and then people pick it up, and then that's an environment that grows and grows within itself and expands outwards. And that's something that you want to be doing in order to keep your people close, to draw in more clients, and of course to be happier yourself. If you created a company and you're a CEO, or you're a top manager, or you're a middle manager, you're a person from a company or a team, you want to be happy as a person.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
choose a coach. Make your life easier. make everybody's life easier.
Yeah.
Everybody
Oh,
will be
thank you.
happy for it.
Thank you so much, Ana Maria, for all the insights and for all the valuable information. It was a really pleasure to have you for 1 hour. And thank you so much for accepting our invitation at Career Backstage. So I just would like to let the audience know that we see next week on 1st of March, and we're going to have Lisa Brennan as our guest speaker. So please subscribe to our YouTube channel, Career Backstage Podcast, to take control of your career, and also follow us on Instagram, on Facebook, and on our website, Awarely. So yeah, thank you so much, and I will see you next time, next Monday on 1st of March. Thank you.
Thank you, Diana, for your lovely invitation. It has been beautiful. You have asked such beautiful questions, and you made me access a lot of information and a lot of experiences that I had and I love because I've learned from them and I grew. And I would like to thank you very much for your kind invitation. For everybody listening to us, thank you for being patient and being interested in this topic. And of course, thank for my team and thank you to my team that has made me the person that I am today in order to bring you this value. So thank you very much.
That is our pleasure. Thank you so much for sharing this with us, because it's really important. Sharing is caring, and this is the way how we can learn and we can grow. Yeah, thank you so much for being so open.
Thank
And I will
you.
see you next time. Thank you to the audience for their patience. As you said, they listen to us. I know sometimes it's quite difficult, but you can learn a lot from that. Thank you. This is another way how you can develop your listening skills.
Exactly.
Thanks. Have a great day and stay safe whenever you are. Thank you.